Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Kentucky and Queenie Facebook Live. Oh my gosh, it's Monday. Hey, Queenie,
Hey Doc, how are you?
I'm still waking up.
Yeah. Well, that's the good news. We are definitely glad you wake up every single Monday.
I am thankful for waking up each and every day, but
That's
like
good.
I posted on Facebook this morning about Monday is not my favorite day. I mean, I love Dr. Queenie. Happy President's Day,
Thank you.
if that's the appropriate way to say it. But yeah, Mondays are not my favorite. Here's I'll be kind of patriotic, presidential. If my background, there we go.
There- Yes, that is beautiful, honestly. And it is super fun for me. Once again, I love Mondays because it's an opportunity to start the week. And I really seriously do. I love that. And I can't wait for Mondays. And that's why, like I say, I've lost a lot of friends because they're like, you are sickening. I know, but it's been a great weekend. The weather in Kansas City today is so gorgeous. It's like, ah! And
Yes.
it really is. The sun is shining, and I can tell how the sun is shifting because of how it hits my house and my patios and all that. And it's wonderful. And so that's why when I wake up on Monday, it's like, oh my gosh. And so I have to calm down because I've got a couple friends like you that are like, oh, if she's happy, I'm going to just die. But it really is fun. I love to get started.
I have a clue as to what I do today, what I'm going to do
Okay.
today. When it's a nice day out, I usually do something.
I bet you're going to garden, right?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be out in the greenhouse, so I put my
There you
hat on.
go.
And when I put my hat on, my dog is like, "Oh, she's going outside."
Oh, is that the
So
clue that she knows that the hat is the gardening? Oh, funny.
And if I
Yeah.
just wear a hat, she's just pesters, pesters, pesters. So it's kind of funny.
Wow. Now that is funny. I talk about habits and pets definitely know your habits. That is hysterical. I would not have actually known that a hat means you're going outside. Funny.
Yep. So speaking of pets, today is National Love Your Pet Day.
Yay.
So I love my pet. You don't have pets anymore, right? You
I do
did have
not. Uh-huh.
kitty
Yes.
with you?
I had a cat for 19 and a half years, and she died several years ago, but it was a perfect death. I mean, she was in perfect health and all that stuff, and just finally that was it, and that was wonderful. And the cat I had before that was 14 years, so I've
Wow.
had great luck with felines. Yeah,
That's awesome. We have our queen here.
yeah.
Uh, this is this is Bella, the queen of the castle.
Uh-huh.
She is 12 years old. So she just
Wow.
past couple of months is starting to show that she's getting a little bit up there in age. She's moving a little
Uh-huh.
slower. And we're
Yeah.
not
Well,
sure
I
if
can
she's
say,
ignoring us or can't hear. So
yeah, yeah. See, I was going to just say sometimes it's selective hearing, and
yes.
we understand how that works for sure.
So that's really cool that you had cats. Do cats normally live that long?
Sometimes they do. I had Tracy Williams is with us today, Doc.
Hey, Tracy.
So sometimes cats do, but my cats are always calicos, and they're usually very fragile by nature. So they were both about 7 or 8 pounds kind of thing. And so 19 and a half years was unusual. Even the vet didn't believe me. I had to prove when I got her. And but the other one was 14, which is about right. But she actually, well, she ended up with health challenge. And of course, I'm very grateful that I have Kangen water for any pets that would happen to be in this house or in my family's homes. So I'm very happy that things have changed over the years as far as longevity for pets that are cared for. And sometimes, obviously, allergic to grass challenges, different health maladies that happen, just like with people. You can't control any of that, in my opinion. You just do the best you can with the information that you have.
Well, yes, just like humans, and we treat our dog almost like a human. She eats human people food.
Oh my gosh, I have seen what you feed this animal, and with the exception of the raw stuff, I look at this and I go, "This is like presidential cuisine." And yeah,
Yeah,
my
she's
son
better
used to
than
say,
we do.
"When I come back, I want to be a Nottingham cat," and I know what that means. But when I come back, I want to be your dog. And
Well, did I tell you I'm not having any more dogs? So I think
yeah,
you're gonna have to go somewhere else.
okay, I appreciate that.
Just wanted to give you a heads up. Yeah. Yeah. My kids are like, oh, let's get another dog. And I'm like, oh, let's not. What do we, it's mom always takes care of, I've
Oh,
raised her.
absolutely.
She was at my feet since she was 9 weeks old. So now she's just bigger and it's easier to fall over her. So
Well, especially if she chooses not to move because, hey, I was here first.
no, and she's doing this thing lately. She's standing in the middle of the kitchen just staring at me. And I'm like, stop, go away. So
Yeah, seriously. Guess who popped on?
hey there, Miss Debbie Dub. Good morning and happy President's Day to you too. So we are on the National Day of.
Oh yes, National Day of
Actually,
Bella. Is that what we're doing? National Day of Bella.
It's National Pet Lovers Day, and so let's flip to one of my favorite subjects. Can you take a guess what one of my favorite subjects
If
is?
it's not gardening, it has to be food.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, Doc. Oh my gosh. All right.
I know. It's actually giving me a stomach ache to look at that.
I was going to say, yeah.
It's National Cherry Pie Day.
Wow. Did you bake that?
Oh heck no. I'm trying to get off the sugar. Did you know that sugar is 80 times more addictive than crack cocaine? Now, I've never tried crack cocaine, and I don't have personal experience of cocaine, but I definitely have sugar experience. So yeah, it's nasty.
Well, and plus, isn't the other challenge, you've mentioned this before when you've been training us on food choices and things like that in some of your classes, you don't always know what has sugar in it. And all of a sudden it's like a surprise. What do you mean there's sugar in, and salad dressing? I'm eating so healthy with 500 cups of salad dressing. And then you wonder why you gain weight. And it's like, what? So sometimes you don't even realize that some of the stuff that you eat thinking it's healthy is loaded with sugar.
Right. That's why we always read labels. But yeah, the two biggest additives are gluten and sugar into whatever, salad dressing is a processed food. I suggest to my clients, the healthiest way to go is vinegar, oil and vinegar.
Absolutely.
If you can tolerate the vinegar. Now vinegars is another, I just said, gluten, they do put gluten in vinegars too. So you've got to read the labels or get it from a really good source. So yeah, it's crazy.
I believe that about the sugar.
So I'm out of pictures, but it's also National Muffin Day.
Speaking of sugar and gluten. Okay, good.
And then after you've gotten your fill of eating too much pie and too many muffins and petting the dog, then you go sit on your comfy couch and it's National Comfy Day. I'm thinking comfy couch, but I don't know, comfy day, like maybe the question is, what do you wear to work nowadays? I've seen people out in public in their PJs.
Yeah, things have changed a bit. And I feel that the pandemic, when we couldn't go out, then obviously you might stay in your jammies all day or whatever that looks like, or just put a different top on for your Zoom calls. But for me, I am always going somewhere or during this. I can't imagine the jammy stuff, but I guess it has happened. And maybe people dress more casually now because they got used to it. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems that way. And of course, I have to make a comment on the way people dress. I'm always cold, Queenie. I don't know if you knew that, but what makes me colder? And I haven't gotten the courage to walk up to somebody that's wearing shorts and sandals when it's 20 degrees out yet. I just am like, I don't think I've ever been that way. But some people have a higher temperature or are hotter than I am.
Well, and
so
the
yeah,
fact that it's always cold, they could be always hot. So it could be exactly the flip side of that. And I have said before, I'm not leaving my house until the temperature hits my age number. So I will see you guys again in August.
We're just going to sidetrack that and go on to the
next. Don't do the math.
I thought, well, you're 27, right? I'm 23.
Maybe I was talking Celsius.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about that for a second. Yes, I was on an H&P thing the other day, and it was actually, now that I think about it, it was kind of funny. I just did not realize that we were both talking different temperatures. They were talking Celsius, and I was like, "Oh, it's so cold here. It's in the 20s." And they're like, "Well, yeah, it's cooled down to 35." And I'm like, "It's cooled down to 35." And I even said, "I thought you guys are in summer." They said, "We are." And yeah, 27 degrees Celsius. Yeah. 35 degrees Celsius is, what did you say, Queenie? 90 degrees?
Yep, 95. Yeah.
95. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And that's why, just like
Communication is,
With Debbie Dove on the 27 Celsius, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And I keep all these time clocks and temperature converters on my phone now, because so many of my friends are other countries. They speak Celsius, they speak kilometers, they speak whatever their time zone. And good evening, Kati. It's so good to see you. And I'm like, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I got up for this call. And so, but yeah, if I'm 27, I mean, since I'm 27, that will be 80 degrees. So we'll see how that works for this summer.
you're 80 degrees. Okay. Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So lastly, and actually we could probably bounce off of this one. It's National Leadership Day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So what does a leader mean to you, Queenie?
The leadership piece for me, I actually did a training class several years ago, obviously hello in person, but we had a really cool location at 135th and Antioch in the Overland Park area called the Egg and I. And they had a fantastic back room, and it was brunch, breakfasty type stuff. And there was a big screen TV, and the setup was fantastic, and the staff was phenomenal. And it held about 25 people. And I had a group called Leaders Only, Please. And it was so awesome because I hooked my laptop up to the big screen so they could see over my head the big screen. I'm typing in, so I'm watching everybody in the room, and I'd say, "Okay, Susie, it's your turn," and all the way around. And I would type in their Facebook page, their profile, and then I would see if they had a link yet to their business page. And of course, then we'd go to their business page. If they didn't have one yet, create it, that whole drill. And we got to see the leader topic. And then, of course, I had a PowerPoint as far as Leaders Only, Please. And one of the first things I mentioned in a leadership training was sometimes posture has nothing to do with your shoulders. And that is my favorite thing, because it is a matter of how many people can you help in a day, week, month, year. And for me, that is a goal for leaders. And that has definitely worked for the people that I work with. How many people can you lead or help in a day? And we all are in this together, in my opinion. What about you, Doc? What is leadership for you?
Well, as you were talking, I was thinking about that. And one big piece for me with leaders, and I guess it's just a kind of an aside, is, and we've talked about this before, people are always watching.
Oh,
You know a leader by their posture, by the way they carry themselves, how they speak, how they treat others. Actually, there was an example of a person that was a leader that I don't watch a lot of TV, but there was something on TV, and this person, they caught a glimpse of him drinking, and he was kind of drunk. And I thought, you just kind of, I was sad to see that, because his posture and his leadership have been consistent until this certain point. And it's just like, I look at it more from kids. Kids are watching, maybe not your 10-year-old, well, or maybe it just, so it's, the leadership piece, people are watching. It's how you handle things. It's how you follow through. It's your posture. It's how you handle difficulties. It's how, if you're a peacemaker or you cause trouble, it's all of those kinds of things wrapped into, how people see you. But that's what I think of with leadership.
Now, first of all, I'd like to say hi to Derrika. We're thrilled that you're with us again today, and happy Monday. And Karen Higgins. Okay, Karen Higgins. I have known her for a very long time, and she just now wondered why she was invited to Leaders Only Please. Now, everyone on here watching, if you've had the privilege of meeting Karen Higgins in person, first of all, she is an ACA ambassador, which means she gets to promote American Club Association with people who are new to networking or people who are seasoned veterans. And now it is certainly a global community. And so you are a leader times a million, my friend. And quite frankly, I watch your leadership skills because I stalk you. So that's number one. But honestly, it's one of those things that we do learn from other people. And just like you were mentioning, Doc, this person who was stellar, an exemplary leader persona, and then you have that drinking episode thing and the posture difference and the slurring of the words and all that stuff. Just like you said, kids are watching. People have questioned why I kid-friendly my YouTube channel. Now, I do that, first of all, because I have grandchildren, several of whom apparently stalk me. But as soon as it says Kathy Weaver posted a video, some of my grandkids watch, like they check in to see what's up, and especially for the Doc and Queenie videos, which is always fun. But how many of us on, let's say Facebook specifically, but even LinkedIn, all of a sudden you get this, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. I'd love to friend you, but it won't go through and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Yeah. Seriously, I don't want that on my YouTube channel. And luckily it notifies me on my other two platforms so I can get rid of those immediately. I don't want that type of persona topic out there. And because like you said, Doc, people are always watching. And so I get to delete those comments because that's not what I'm here for. This is business. This is friendship. This is community building. This is not stock stuff. And so, and plus, if that's the kind of stuff that ended up on YouTube and my kids saw that, that's not a good fit for me.
You know, and that segues to that person that always seems to, it always seems to be a single guy. Oh, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I get a lot of that on my Facebook.
You don't even know if you're single, actually, but their picture is the same and their names are always different. And I'm going, aren't you the same one from yesterday?
It's the same guy. Same guy. Yeah. Wasn't your name Bob yesterday? It's Tim today. And now you're telling me you want to be my friend. Well,
oh my God.
You know.
Oh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I'm saying people delete us.
Yeah. So, you know, and I'm sidetracking here, but I also get, and it kind of ties into the networking piece. You know, networking is building relationships. And I approach also my Facebook page the same way.
Yes.
I'll be your friend and get to know you, but please don't send me a message like right after we've become friends telling me, and I love this, and I call it a scam. I don't care if it's real or not, but it's just, you know, did you hear about the such and such? And I'm like, yeah, actually I did. And I'm still not interested. And then they just keep going. And you're like, you know, I'm not fresh meat, you know? You know, and that's a posture thing too. You know, people want to plug into my network on Facebook. We'll use that as the example, but you've already proven that you are just looking for people to make money off of.
Yes.
I feel that business person or that business is not going to last long because, you know, it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It just does.
I agree 1,000,000%. And that for me has been the deterrent, if you will, from the reaching out parts. And that's why most of the time I wait for people to come to me. I'm happy to help regardless of whose team they're on or what group they're in or any of that stuff. But that's always why I'm a little more back off-ish, because so many people are out there going, would you like to buy my this? And I'm always like, oh my gosh, does that actually work for you? And so, yeah, that kind of tears me up. Once again, we're thrilled for all of you joining us live today on Doc and Queenie Facebook Live. We love Girl Chat with a Faith Twist, honestly. And Doc, I don't know if you are aware of this, but I'm super duper excited. We met in July of 2019, and here we are still. And we started the Doc and Queenie community a year later, and here we are still, coming up on 3 years and the first week of August. And I'm so excited for how our community has grown. And now I'm seeing so much interaction on our pages and within our community. We got to meet in person with Deby over the weekend. We got to meet a couple weeks ago with Karen Hagens. That was a blast. And it's just a matter of watching the network expand. If anyone hasn't met us in person yet and wants to, it's been so much fun to be able to meet our faithful friends on purpose in person.
And we also have several people coming up for our guest live. So if you haven't been on our guest live ever, or, do we have a rule? Every 6 months?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
We're so strict on our rules. Yeah. Yeah. But I'd say if you haven't been on in 6 months and you want to, and or your company has changed, sure. Absolutely.
Reach out to one of us.
In the blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times people reach out to me. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. You get the challenge of trying to coordinate 3 calendars. That sometimes can be a challenge, but it really is super exciting to be able to do this. I know, seriously. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I don't have trouble with my calendar because I'm always outside. I'm not sure about you, Queenie. But we won't make a comment on that, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
so no, we've got. It's been a blast with everybody, and to get to know everybody and get to know their businesses, and it's been a lot of fun. So we are hopeful that we'll have more people jump on for our guest live, and that we can keep our community going, our community of connection.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we need to spin a wheel.
Oh my gosh, I do love that part for sure. Let's do that. Absolutely. And
you're a professional wheel spinner, I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a professional something. We haven't figured that out yet. All right. Let's find out where this magic wheel will land today.
Jeeps.
Yeah, for real. Let's see. Okay. All
right. Did we do that last time?
No, last time we actually did the doc piece, and you talked a lot about branding, but it wasn't just the branding piece of your company. So yeah.
Okay, so you go first then, Queenie. Do you like how I flip that?
Yeah. For me, and everyone listening now, or certainly on the replay, please consider, what is your brand? Okay. That does not mean what is your company. That means what is your brand? What do people know you as? Now, certainly you want them to know I sell Kangen water machines. I train teams on selling Kangen water machines. I love that piece of my business. But my brand is Kathy Weaver KC, which stands for Kansas City, which takes you to all of my different platforms so that we can talk about posting parties or networking groups, or my 3 books that I can help and train on whatever you need help with in your own community, in your own network. But Kathy Weaver KC is my brand. Kangen Water is my company, and social media is my passion. And I absolutely love that. And it's been fantastic to watch the career building piece of my brand grow. And the way you know if your brand is working, type your brand name into Google. And if your brand is working, your branding, then you will be all over Google. And so please consider that. So branding for me is different than your identifier, or certainly even your company. What about you, Doc? You are fantastic at branding and at a greenhouse all over social. You have done a few million things right also.
I'm kitchen garden expert, and that's gardening, greenhouses. What else do I do?
Ebooks.
Ebooks. Ebooks right now, and more to come. I love to build websites and all of that kind. I'm like you, Queenie. I'm kind of got my hands into a lot of different things, but for me, it's all about food too. That's another pick, and that's on my podcast, and that's on some of my videos and my reels, and love social media, and it's same thing. Hashtag Kitchen Garden Expert is one of my favorites to use, of course. And then Gardening Doc or Garden Doc 7. I think I'll tell you a story on that. So I like to garden. There you go. I'm sure nobody knew that. I'm a doctor, and 7 is my favorite number. So, but it's like you said, Google yourself and see if you can be found. And if you haven't, then you need to make some changes. So, and speaking of that, Queenie, I've been starting to watch a little more carefully, I guess I could say, how things work out there in the social media world. And it's amazing. Last Monday, I hit all of my platforms on social media in different ways. And I just wanted to see what would happen. And my views on my website went up. My views on my business Facebook page went up like 192%, like crazy. I actually added 30 more friends on Facebook. My views on LinkedIn went up as far as my posts. I mean, I just was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Yeah. So there is something to say, like we always talk about consistency, but keeping that brand consistent across all of the platforms. So that's my contribution to branding.
And think about how great you've done with Kitchen Garden Expert. It's all about food, podcast, vodcast, YouTube channels. And I happen to know, because I do stalk you, that you got several more YouTube subscribers over the weekend. And when I look at things like that, I instantly go, ha. And I call it cross-pollination, because you would take a video on Facebook Live or Zoom or wherever you go, upload it to your YouTube channel. Now it's on YouTube, so it's a compressed file, because sometimes the MP4s, if you haven't converted them yet, don't let that hurt your head, by the way. YouTube will answer all those questions. But if you haven't converted your MP4 to something transferable, now when you've got your YouTube video, that's easy to send anywhere. And now you can talk about Diary of a Greenhouse here on your Zoom call into your YouTube channel and post it on social media, Diary of a Greenhouse, all those hashtags done correctly. And the next thing you know, Doc is popping up all over the place. So you have been a beautiful example of what works when you do it right.
And it does take work. I mean, like you say, and I'm going to mess it up again. At least I'm consistent that way, that you fell uphill to wind up.
Those of us at the top of the mountain didn't fall here.
That one too. Well, your overnight success, at 15-year overnight success. And
That's
am
right,
I close?
Yeah. You're
it's
close.
Monday, Queenie. It's Monday.
Yes. I'm an overnight success, and it only took 15 years.
There we go. See, I knew you could do it for me.
Yeah. But see, we all start at the level. We literally start at the beginning. And that's why people say, I wish I could this like you. Please don't wish like that. We all start here, and then we learn, and then yikes, it didn't work. And then we learn again, and yikes, that didn't work. So we learn again. And now all of a sudden, all the pieces come together, and it's like, boom. And it's so cool to watch. In fact, I had a guest trainer today on one of my posting parties. I said, you know what? You've been showing up, and I'm stalking you. I think you're going to be a guest trainer today. And she goes, okay. And so she did it, and she did a stellar job. I'm so proud of her. And I really seriously mean that. Those of us who learn how to do something and share it with our friends, and we help other people and they share it with their friends, and you see how that momentum continues. Doc, you're a perfect example of that, because now how many people, your clients, have come forth and said, excuse me, can you teach me how to build a greenhouse? Diary of a Greenhouse was born. Excuse me, can you show me how to start the seedlings? Here goes all of your YouTube videos and your Instagram reels. All of a sudden, you're helping other people with their specific goals. You're a beautiful example of branding, Doc.
Well, and likewise, you too, Queenie. And it is all about helping people. And the networking is about helping others, getting to know others. And then that's where it eventually will affect your business. Because I'll go to, well, I've asked you a couple of times, hey, who's a good, I think actually we got a referral from you for a plumber one time. But you've done networking, and the guy that we got was fantastic. It was better than just flipping through, or going online and taking a guess. I was going to say flipping through the yellow pages. We don't have those anymore. But
flipping through what?
What is that? I don't know what that is. I'm not that old. I heard about it. Yeah. But yeah, it's all about helping others and building that relationship so that when you do need somebody, or like your perfect example, you've got a lot of referrals from water because people knew you and have had a great experience. And it goes back to people are watching, and how was your posture? Yeah. Yes.
Karen just said that we are both great mentors. Guess who else is a great mentor on this call? We've got a house full, from Derrika to Deby to Karen to anyone else watching with us. It really is, my friends, Traci Williams. We have mentors all over the place because we get to learn from each other. And I mean that with all my heart.
And it's not, it's sad to see out there, and I have to make the comment, sometimes you see out there that people keep a specific type of group, but it's really, we're all in it together. Yes. It's not, keeping it to it, that's division right there. It's like, let's all help each other, so there's my spiel for my 20-second spiel.
Well, I would like to encourage everyone on the call, live with us, certainly, or on the replay, just Google yourself. Type in your brand, which means posting party. Try to see what happens with that. Type in Kangen Water, Kansas City. Type in networking. Type in whatever your brand is, and then certainly be specific. Kathy Weaver, KC, Kangen Water, Miracles with Water. Type in whatever you are known for and see how you're doing on that Google search. Because that, when I get these calls and I don't recognize the person, how can I help you kind of thing? And they say, I wanted to talk about Kangen Water. I always say, oh my gosh, it's my favorite subject. How did you hear about me? And then when they say, I found you on a Google search, and now obviously if it's one of my clients, one of my family of Kangen, I put their ID number on the order form. But if it's a random search and they found me on Google, I then say, what were you looking for when you found me? Kangen Water, Kansas City, Alkaline Water, Miracles with Water. They saw me in a networking event. What were they looking for? And then I know that my SEO, my topics that I put out there, hashtagging, are working. And for you, Doc, with the gardening piece, with the training piece, with the podcast piece, all the different places that you are for your greenhouse, you are, I think, nationally known now. Your network has exploded.
I'm getting there, and it's been, I keep saying it, hard work, but I don't like to think it was all fluffy, Yeah. And Derrika, I just happened to see here, said another tip: set a Google alert for your name and your brand, so you'll get an email alert when anything is posted about you or your brand name. That's a great idea. So you can jump on it and edify that person.
Yes. Yeah. Being me, I do Google search for women only networking, and I do Google for networking. So every time any of those pop up, I get to be one of the first ones on those events. So I love that.
Yep. Yeah. And then when somebody, edifies you, you edify back. I mean, that's one thing that you've taught on LinkedIn, for example, with when we've done the posting parties is, you get on there and then you tag the person that made the post and you re-hashtag their hashtags, or you add some new ones to tie it all together. It's just, and then just watch that ball roll. It's incredible. Yeah. My last post, I think I'm pushing 500 on the last posting party I did with you for a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Hey,
it's crazy. Job. And all I did was, I like my greenhouse, that's all I did.
But it works. I love that.
It does. Yeah. It does. It totally does. So
before we say goodbye today, I have one thing I would like to share. I noticed your hat, and this is my sweatshirt for today.
Yay.
So I just wanted to share that this is, for me, transition month. We are going from our fantastic Chief celebration and the champions to my boys went to spring training and are still going. They've called different pitchers and catchers and team members now so far. And I'm loving the fact that Salvi is now on commercials on TV again and interviews and things like that. And so this for me is transition because our first home opener, I believe, is March 30th. And we get to see preseason games coming up. And baseball is definitely my DNA. I'm learning to love football, and I'm certainly thrilled for the Chiefs and Patrick and all of our friends. But it really is transition month for me as we shift from Kansas City Chiefs champions to Royals, because we will be champions this year too, Doc, right?
I really hope so. and you know, it might be a little bit harder, but you know, there's always hope.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, part of that transition, you know what else it's transitioning into, which we both love?
What?
It's getting warmer. It's getting warmer. Spring is almost here.
I love that. You are correct.
So awesome. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us, whether it was live or on the replay for Doc and Queenie Facebook Live at
High Noon.
That was good, Queenie. You can find us out there on social media. You can find Queenie at Kathy Weaver KC all over social media, and her website is kathyweaverkc.com, or you can look for me, Kitchen Garden Expert, all over social media, or kitchengardenexpert.com. Everybody have a fantastic week. Have a blessed week, and we will see you right back here in March 2023 at what time was it again? Oh dear, we better go now. So, everybody have a great week. Talk to you later. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Doc. Bye now.
Thank you, Queenie.